Recently, I started learning French, and the first question that I spent a lot of time overthinking about is how to learn this language. I have experience in language learning. I picked up English when I was in high school, therefore, I should repeat the same process with French. In this video, I will share tips and techniques that helped me learn English, which I'm going to use to learn French, and you can, too, incorporate this to learn whatever language you want to learn. Look up, but don't overlook up. When you begin learning a language, the first obstacle you face is vocabulary, words and expressions that you don't understand. What you normally do is open up a dictionary or Google Translate and find the meaning of this word. But the problem is there's a lot of words you don't understand. You find yourself spending the whole time you allocate to language learning looking up words. Some people advise us to try to learn the word from the context. That's true, you can learn new vocabulary in that way. But there is a downside also with this method. It's too slow. You will not learn vocabulary faster, since you need to see the words many times in different contexts and resources, so you can guess the meaning of the word. So, what is the solution? I think it's in the middle, between looking up and learning from the context. Look up, but don't overlook up. In this way, you assure that you are developing new vocabulary, you learn words from context, and spend more time listening, reading, or whatever exercise you're doing. And finally, it's less stressful. It's easier and more productive because you will not spend ages looking up every single word in that book, article, video, or podcast. And that way, you will finish the material in a reasonable time and move to the next one. Do one thing per time. I love this strategy. It's very simple and productive. I use it in other projects and activities like studying. I do one particular thing per time. I'm sure that you've seen language learners online doing 4 to 5 different exercises at the same time. I don't like this. For many reasons. The first reason is that you don't have to. Why should I do many things at the same time? I can do one thing, then move to another. The second reason is that it requires a lot of time. You need to 3 hours each day if you want to learn language that way. Most of us don't have this time, so we have to do one thing per time. And that's not bad, it's actually better because it's effective. You focus your energy at one thing, when you complete it, you move to another, and it brings clarity. It's one clear and specific step per time. Here is a silly example to illustrate this point. When you are eating, you take one bite per time, chew it, swallow it, then move to the next bite. I hope that's what you do. Imagine if you have to chew 4 or 5 bites at once. It will be really hard and stressful, and it will slow you down. Instead, if you take one bite per time, you will finish your plate faster and easily. I know, it's a silly example. I'm sorry. In addition, you have to apply this way of doing things in learning languages in general. If you want to become a polyglot and speak many languages, learn one language per time, instead of spending months learning a couple of languages and end up after investing a lot of time and energy speaking none of them. So pick up the simplest route and do one thing per time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. How to learn a language in 12, 9, 6, 3 months. The trend now is 7 days. I watch a lot of these videos. They are cool and motivating and include some really good lessons and wisdom. But don't assume that you can learn a language within a specific period of time. I don't buy it. You can't force fluency if that's your goal. If you want just to understand a little bit and stay on a beginner level, then fine. You can do this in a couple of months. 7 days? Absolutely not. Don't negotiate with me. But if your goal is to speak the language fluently, then take it as a marathon and just wait until fluency comes. It took me more than 5 years to become fluent in English. You might think this is too long, but if you think a little bit deeper, you will find that it's really great. A couple of years from now, you will be speaking a whole new language that is not your mother tongue, and be able to read different books, understand new jokes, speak with new people, consume a whole different culture. Isn't that so cool? That's very promising and motivating. I highly advise you to change your mindset. Instead of seeing language learning as a sprint, think of it as a marathon, something you will live with for a couple of years, every day for a little bit of time. Currently, I try to do one Pomodoro, which is 25 minutes of learning French each day, and if I can do more, I do it. Use different methods. You can't use one method to learn a whole language. Don't overthink methods. There's many, and each one will help you in some way and improve an aspect of your language. For example, currently I'm watching a YouTube channel to learn French. Next, I might move to a podcast, book, news sites, do flashcards in Anki, or read Harry Potter in French. The key lesson here is using different methods to fill different gaps you have and make language learning fun, because each time you do something completely different. Fun-centric. All roads lead to Rome. The same is applicable in language learning. All methods lead to fluency, of course, if they are effective. Therefore, you should use fun methods and make language learning an enjoyable activity. You don't have to do it in a way you hate. If there's alternatives, you might enjoy it better. So try to gamify and make the process of learning the language cozy and in whatever feelings and modes you enjoy. Make it your own way, not somebody else's way of learning. Simply enjoy yourself, make it an addictive activity. Habit tracking. Recently, I started using Habitica to track my habits, and one of those habits is learning French. Why? It's simple. When you use a habit tracker, it acts as a daily reminder. You become addicted to doing your habits, so you can, at the end of the day, check it off on the app. And if you missed it, you feel terrible about not clicking on that green check button and breaking the strike. Conclusion. If I keep going, I will never finish this video. There's countless tips. Tips are just lessons you learn along the way while learning a language. And as we learn, the process takes years. So there's a lot of tips. Each one helps in a specific point of the long process. And that's my final tip. For you, don't over-research. I will not tell you to stop completely watching those how to learn a language videos, but don't overdo it. Research, but don't over-research. From time to time, watch a video or read an article to find an interesting method or tip you can apply, and spend the majority of your time learning the language itself. And from experience, you will figure out a lot of cool tips that you can share with us. So that's the end of the video. Happy language learning, and thank you for watching this.